And this is 6-2, the beta lesson, right? So this is from yesterday. Let's write off, just copied and pasted this from the 6-2 alpha lesson. You have the sum or difference of univariate data. If you have the sum, you add the 7. If you have the difference, you subtract the 7. But you always add the spread, variability, okay? So the variance is a statistical value that has application in courses beyond what we're doing. You're just accountable for the definition. And for you, what you know about the variance is it's the value of the standard deviation before you take the square root. That's what variance is. Okay? And if I add two distributions, ready? Here's the variance, sigma squared, of these two distributions, x and y. You add the variances. But if you subtract the distributions, you still add the variances. So here's the example, okay? The sum and difference of two dice. So in your book, there's a picture on page 314 of two dice. Now you might not need, I hope you don't need the picture, but you're welcome to look at the picture on page 314. So I put this diagram over here. I don't know if it's helpful or not. I'm saying here's your two dice. One to stick for the columns and one to stick for the rows. And what happens? Well, the pink numbers, I don't know if you really tell, but the numbers in the northwest of each of those cells is the sum. 1 and 1 is 2. 2 and 1 is 3. 3 and 1 is 4. With the sum. If I didn't fill the whole thing, you just keep quiet. But if you get a 1 on this side, your sum will either be a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. Depending on what you got to do. But something you're not used to, we can do the difference of the two dice. So in the southeast, I wrote what's the difference, which is column take away row. You can do row take away column. You get the same number, you just rearrange it. Column take away row. 1 take away 1 is a 0. 2 take away 1 is 1. 3 take away 1 is 2. There's that row. 1 take away 2 is a negative 1. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So what's happening here? You could play a game where you subtract the two dice. But the spread looks like this. If you add the two dice up, the lowest number you can get is 2. The highest number you get is 12. Yes? Makes sense to you? But if you subtract them, what's the lowest number you can get? Oh. 1 take away 6 would be a negative 5. What's the highest number you get? 6 take away 1 is 5. So instead of going from 2 to 12, the distribution goes from negative 5 to 5. If you subtracted the two numbers, what's the point? The width is the same. It's just a slide of 7 to the left. If we counted the sum, we counted the difference as opposed to the sum, we would get the same distribution. We just have slid all the values 7 to the left. We can slide the center of this. We can slide the whole distribution. Center, 7 to the left. So we roll two dice. Our expected outcome is to get a 7. That's the most likely outcome. It's only 6 out of 36 chance. We roll the dice, we can count the sum. The expected outcome is a 7, 6 out of 36 pairs. We count the difference, the expected outcome is 0. Because there's 6 times where the dice would match up and their difference would be a 0. So that would be the expected outcome. But that's just a slide of 7 to the left. So it doesn't matter whether you see, this is trying to emphasize this to you. It doesn't matter whether you add the distributions or subtract them. You always add the spread. Okay? So we're going to go to 3 questions. Now we're going to stop in between, but we're going to get you started. 51, 59, and 69. So 51 and 59 and 69. So ready? 51 and 59 are the same data set. 51 and 59 have to deal with study habits. So we're going to give you a chance to do those 2 questions. We're going to go over those, and then we're going to send you back to do 69. So for 51, we've got these pictures. Here's the girls. 120's in the center. The step's 28. So if I went 1 step to the right, I'd have 148. If I had 1 step to the left, I'd have 92. The boys. 105 is the center, and the step's 35. So there's your curve. Girl take away boy would be 15. So that curve would be here. This is female subtract male. The center would be 15. Make sense? The idea is now you have to calculate what's the magnitude of that step. That would take you 1 to the right of 15 and 1 to the left of 15. And you need to do that to do 59. Let's go 51 first. So for 59, here's the 15 from this picture. It's dead center. So what's the magnitude of the step? Well, for girls, the step was 28. That was standard deviation. So you square it. And for boys, it was 35. And you square it. And that would be the sum of the variances. When you take the square root of that, that gives you the standard deviation of the distribution of the sum of the difference. Sums were different, which is about 45. So in the picture, you would go, here's 15. 45 to the right of that takes you a 60. 45 to the left of it takes you a negative 30. So in this picture, if I'm here, I rounded this number. It's 60 and negative 30. So somewhere in here is a 0 between negative 30 and 15. And this is the area of the curve where you would get female take away male is negative, which means the boys study longer. You have to calculate that. So I went down and did normal CDF. So what's the probability that the girls study? This is probably the girls study longer. Is that what the question is? It is. Yeah, the girls study more. Ready? So I said, here's the curve. Start at 0. Start here and go to the right. Well, that's why it's helpful to have the picture, because you can tell automatically this answer has to be above 50%. And the upper value, I just picked a large number, arbitrarily 1,000. I need you to do this. You go to your calculator and go to bars. Second bar is 2. You start at 0. Make your upper value 100 instead of 1,000. It's just a large number. Ready? The center's 15. I truncated this step. You can store this in a letter and put that letter there, but it'll be fine if you truncate it. 44.821 for the step. This should be 822. That's paste that, and you understand what happened? You're going to get the same answer. Because what's going to be off for these decimal places way to the right of the decimal point? You're going to get a probability of a little more than 63% that the girls study more. What's probably the boys study more? One, take away that, a little less than 37%. You got to think about this. That right there is an AP question. That is a main question with a difference of two distribution. You get the sum. But you're more likely to get the difference of two distribution. They catch people who do the difference of the variance, or even the difference in standard deviation. Okay. So this picture right here marked up goes with 51. That's if you're drawing freehand to understand the question. So we're going to pause this and send you to do the last problem, which is 61. All right, so for 69, sorry. What happens? 69, they're saying to you, you got 4 terms that up. So the center is going to be the sum of the 4 terms. So 224.2 is in the center. So what's the step? Each of the 4 variances, the square root of that. So you're at 224.2 in the center, a step of about 5.5. So the question says, what's the probability that you were less than 220? Well, if you can see from your picture, that less than 220 is going to be less than 50%. So I went from the preset value to 220, where this is the center and that's the step. And there's about a 22.5 chance that you're less than 220. Okay. So if you're at home, you are dismissed to go to the exit ticket. We will see you in the building on Thursday.